move to showing why it's important to involve young people. So if you look at the diagram, Africa is the youngest continent in the world, with over 60% of its population at age 25. And what this means is that we are both presented with a challenge and an opportunity. Because while our population keeps increasing, it means that our young people are going to encompass a larger part of it, and we cannot talk about our transition process without thinking about them. It's not possible. If you look at the side, again, you can see that Africa's youth population is expected to double by 2050. And already, we have some pressing challenges that we're facing, which of course, Mr. Benjamin reiterated in his speech that over 600 million people are living without electricity. Right. Now, we'll move to this side. Ghana's Energy National Framework, right, has indicated that by 2070, our population is supposed to increase by 70.2 million. And the African Development Bank has mentioned that as of 2023, our population, which is a 30.8 million, is represented 70% by young people. Again, are we still seeing why we need to involve young people? Because almost all the conversations we're having is going to rest on the shoulders of young people. If we have 70% of them, we can assume that by 2070, we're still going to have perhaps more or still close to the same percentage, right? Now, if we have to involve them, there are certain pressing challenges that we need to clear away from the road. We need to make it an easy passage for them to be able to get involved. Now, I'm just highlighting a few of the challenges that many young people, given that Eco Africa works directly with them, have been able to identify. And the first one, of course, is our limited access to education and training, particularly on energy. We can look at the room, use a practical example. How many young people are here? We still have a lot more space. Oh, no, okay, you're young, that's fine. We still have a lot of spaces which are yet to be filled. But this is an important subject that many young people should be totally interested in and should be here. So it's either they're not getting the information, or they are getting it, but they still do not see the significance of it and why they need to be here. And before somebody will see the value of something, the person must first understand it. So if they don't understand, then there's no need that they'll be here in the first place. So education and training is corollary for them, playing a major role in the energy transition process, which is very important. Again, for those who even understand, even to a little bit, they don't have mentorship and support. Beyond energy, mentorship is a big problem in Africa. We have very few mentors that many young people can learn from. So it's one of the pressing issues as well. And for those who want to start something, all of us are aware that finance is a major issue. I heard the moderator mention it prior to my coming. The finance is a big issue that we have to pay attention to. And then the issue of the gender bias, very important. Now, if you take a look at the stat, globally, women make up only 22% of global energy workforce. And in Africa, we have only 15%. So the gender gap is very huge that we need to pay attention to. So when I'm talking about young people, I want to focus on a lot of representation of every single person that matters. And of course, we can look at some of the which has to do with mentorship for women. Women also don't have mentors to look up to. And gender stereotype was a very big issue. We can also look at lack of education for women, of course, which we'll be solving. But because we're talking about energy, when I'm talking about lack of education, the focus is that we need to also pay attention on educating women on energy. Right, it's very important. Now, I'll talk that this is, before I even talk what roles I feel young people play, it's very important that I mention that currently within the space, the stakeholders who have the means a lot would have the wherewithal to be able to push young people into the space that young people can get it themselves. So I believe that with the involvement, we need to provide training and education for them. We need to offer them mentorship and support. We need to provide with access to. And then we need to promote gender equality by implementing policies. For those of us within the legal space, we know how far policies go to ensure
ensuring that we're able to resolve some of the headaches. So it's very important that we pay attention to that as well. And I think that these are sort of things that many young people do. Because I have a friend called Matthias Charles Yabe, who is the CEO of Aquafresh. Maybe any of you have heard of him before. But Aquafresh is...
Right, thank you. Aquafresh
is a solar company, right, that is resolving post-harvest loss using solar energy.
And that is one of the things that some young people can pay attention to. I think that young people can adopt sustainable practices, support renewable energy development, create green solutions.
It's fine. Thank you. That's waiting, I just have to put it down. No. Innovating green solutions.
Okay. Innovating green solutions, participating in succession planning. And I also think that many young people can use their voices to advocate for sustainable energy policy and initiatives. And when I talk about advocacy, I always want to solve the first, foremost, most important thing, that you can only be an advocate for something if you have adequate knowledge. Because you cannot be a voice. The accounts will say, they have a fine proverb. Yeah, in fact, I don't know if you know that proverb.
Right, that you cannot blow the trumpet with an empty stomach. It means that you need to
fill the belly before you blow trumpet before you would know. Right? So if we are advocating, we are urging young people to be advocates, then it's important that as young people here, we get to learn and know what we have to talk about. So that if you're saying something at home and your mom asks you, you don't say, oh sure, that's what he told me. But it's something that you also know and then you can share. And I'll quickly just wrap up. These are some of the things that young people have been able to do, and it's helping. The Impact, the Solar Sister Program, and then Eco Africa, what we've been doing, we have the objective that in the next 5 years at least, for about 1 million Kenyan people, young people, we would have been involving them in the energy education bit of it is very important, and helping them to know. We've started that leveraging on technology, and in the last few months we've spoken to about 500 people on our Twitter spaces consistently. And it's been good because the questions we get asked are questions that, given the situation we are in, we shouldn't even expect young people to ask that because it's way down. But gradually we are picking it up, many of them are joining, and these are people within the tertiary space. So even within the tertiary space we have that decline, then it's showing that there's a lot more work that we need to do and a lot more efforts that we need to put in place. So when we're doing the panel discussion, I'll hammer more on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You did exactly 10 minutes. Thank you.